Hastings County Farm Show. Great to see a big group of people here for this, and the association is really happy to have this happen at our event here, because rural has to stick together, if you know what I mean, and it's nice that we can do things with the community here, and that's kind of part of why the Hastings County Farm Show exists. We want to promote Hastings County, promote the agricultural community, and help people out along the way. So this is a great thing they're going to tell you about here, and we have the man that's going to do a lot of the talking. He's kind of helped spearhead this. So without any further ado, I guess I can just hand this over to Mark Slack.
Amen.
Hi folks, thanks for coming. Yeah, I am Mark Slack. That's good and bad in some ways, I guess, but for those who know me. And for those who do know me, this may look scary that I've actually got a written speech, but if it wasn't written here, you guys would be here all afternoon. So, and I'm not even a politician. Anyway, at the Farm 911, the Emily project, I guess really got going about a year ago, and this is going to be the part where I'm going to be a little emotional, and excuse me for that, I guess. But when Scott and Angela had the accident with Emily, where the accident happened, the farm entrance was not marked, and the ambulance, first responders went by the entrance of the farm, and that, the description of that to me was, if you want to feel helpless, that would be it. So, and I didn't know about that till quite a bit later, but Scott and Angela came to me and said, this is what's happened, and we think that there should be 911 signs on all farm entrances. And of course, I thought that was a great idea. I spoke to friends of mine in the police services and in the emergency services. I thought it was a great idea. So we then we talked to Hastings County, and as it turns out, you can have one. So what this became, right after that, we thought, well, the groundwork's done. We are just presenting this as information. So we need to present the information to landowners, rural landowners, so that they can apply to the municipality and get 911 signs. So what we've done is we've assembled in a neat little brochure, everybody from the 4 counties, all the information is there. We have a website, and you can go to your local municipality, and some counties are providing the signs for free, some have a cost associated, and that's up to the individual municipalities. But the groundwork's done. So, and we started last October, and once again, I'm going to encourage everybody, farm owners and rural landowners, to really consider looking at putting a 911 entrance sign up, whether it's at the woodlot that you cut in the winter, whether it's at your hunting camp, whether it's at a rural property that serves summer residents, whatever it is, you should consider it, because the 911 sign is a ground marker for the first responders. And Mark will explain a little more at how that ties in. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of your time. We actually have, that's why I have a written speech, because I have the time limit. But I'm going to go right to thank yous. And I'd like to thank Scott and Angela and the Trudeau family. For your bravery, selflessness, and allowing us to move forward with this project. People that didn't know Emily are now touched by her. thank you for letting us share your story. To the Farm 911 Organizing Committee. This committee was formed quickly out of the 4 counties. Now our member service rep is Ray Sue Wald. And when she heard about this project, I was supposed to thank Farm 911 first, but I'm going to thank her. Because she made a commitment to the Trudeau family and carried through on it efficiently, effectively. She organized the committee and got us moving in the right direction and made sure that we were keeping focus on this launch. So and we're all different people, and I had never met some of these people before, so she did a really good job at doing that. So we went from the concept to launch in less than a year, and everybody in that committee brought honesty, integrity, and made it come together in seamlessly. To our municipal councillors, someone is here. We'd like to express our gratitude to county councillors, municipal councillors who took the time to meet with us. The project was supported without hesitation, and you added your knowledge and experience. Again, now we are asking for your help, and we're putting our trust in you to see this project move through. To the police chiefs, fire chiefs, and the first responders, whom this committee had discussed this project with, and with their recognition of the necessity of it and their initiative for the reinforcement of this project to municipal councils, we say thank you. At the county level, we also encountered great support direct from staff members who are involved in emergency response, and civic addressing. Thank you for your time and support. To our members of parliament and members of provincial parliament, for embracing this idea and helping it move forward. To the Safe Communities of Northumberland and Lennox-Addington Services Advisory Committee for meeting with us and offering your ideas and support. To Michaela Stacey for her idea there. Of Ebu Digital in Wellington for her work on the website. It looks great, thank you. To Margaret Hyad, thank you for your in-kind work. That logo was from Margaret Hyad. For great work on that. It looks great. We've had compliments on it already, and it's awesome. And I think it really reflects the project. And they've done great work with us in the promotional material, and it was a pleasure working with them. To our 4 county federations of agriculture, Hastings, Northumberland, Lennox-Addington, Prince Edward, for their financial support. Without the seed money, we wouldn't have been able to launch. Now, anything like this takes money to start. So when we came to the 4 counties, we asked each of them for seed money to get things moving, and without hesitation, all 4 counties committed, pledged to us. We actually borrowed a secretary from Hastings, and he has worked fantastically with us, and thank you, Vince. Also, a big thank you for the Hastings County Clown Match and Farm Show for allowing us to use this venue to launch the project. And to be honest, we didn't really ask at first. We just kind of assumed we were going to do this, and then we thought maybe we should ask, really. And when we showed up, nothing but full support, and we appreciate it, and your generosity is recognized. And I should apologize because I'm sure I've missed somebody. And so to everyone that supported the project, thank you. It's helped reaffirm our commitment to the project and help make all this possible. So now I'm going to introduce Mike Bosio, Member of Parliament for Hastings, Lennox-Addington. Mike has supported this project from the start. We thank him for seeing the good in this project and doing something about it. He's made people aware of this project outside of his jurisdiction, and we truly appreciate it.
So nice to see such a great turnout here this morning, and the incredible support for this initiative. You know, I just can't say enough about Scott is the strength of his character, and I can't even imagine in the depths of his sorrow, thinking about, okay, we've gone through this now. How do we bring about some kind of positive from this terrible situation? And shortly after I got elected, he came to me with this idea, and we talked about it and fleshed a number of things out. And I said, well, you know what? I said, it's all new to me. I don't know what I can do, but you don't know if you don't try. And so we just started talking to different ministers, First Minister of Public Safety and the Minister of Industry, Science and Economic Development, and sent letters in making some recommendations on establishing a national standard for this that other jurisdictions can use. And out of that, submissions have gone into the Canadian Commission on Building and Fire Codes to adapt this into some kind of policy, a national policy that can then be utilized by other jurisdictions to create a policy that will exist across all government jurisdictions across the country. So I don't know whether the Commission is going to adopt it. I hope. I'm continuing to lobby on behalf of that, but none of it would have been possible if it wasn't for the strength of Scott and family to really push this forward and to do the heavy lifting. I do a small piece, but I do what I can, like any of us. And I can't say enough about the police and fire services. The fire chiefs, when I met with the fire chiefs in Canada in last spring at Parliament Hill, they were talking about this initiative. So it just goes to the organization, the Farm 911 project organization, your work in promoting it to different jurisdictions, to different organizations that bring these positive results, that bring a number of different entities, and the more entities that come together to push this forward is what's going to make this a reality. I have to commend all of the municipalities so far that have already adopted this initiative and are ensuring that farms, hunting camps, and other properties that don't have 911 signage today get it. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, what value do we put on a life? Right? It's really what it comes down to. So thank you all so much for your hard work, for your determination to bring about this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And next, I'd like Neil Ellis to come forward. We greatly appreciate his support on this project and thank him for being here today at the launch.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. I'm sure everybody would agree that it's nice to be out in rural Ontario today celebrating the launch of the Emily project. And when this came across my desk, and it seems longer than a year ago, but to move this so quick with the volunteers and group, I commend all of you. And from a past role of being a part of an emergency organization as a mayor, you realize how important things are like this, but you realize how people can make change. And for this not to exist before, when it came across my desk, it was a no-brainer to support. And I'm going hopefully this can get done. It can get done sooner than later. And the champion of the support behind this today, you can see that this project is a project that is well past due. On the way to this morning out here, I was listening to Lauren Brooker, and there was somebody from the project promoting it, or the plowing match, and the airway and Lauren talking about it. It just makes so much sense, and I think so many of us didn't realize how important labeling, and I remember when the 911 system come in, and will date us all, that how many lives that saved, and this project even more. And it's about the visibility, and it's about awareness. So with that, I'd like to thank all our first responders, thank the group, the organization, and today we know together we can make our communities better. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Mark McDonald is fire chief of Belleville, and Mark and I go way back.
Don't tell the story.
I can't tell any stories. Other than, you know, it was predetermined that he was going to be in a firefighter, because in the yearbook it says, under his name, where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know what they were talking about. I have no idea. But he's trying to put that fire out. He's been trying to put it out for a long time. Mark was one of the guys I called. He might say bothered, but and we talked about this project, and we talked about the importance of it, and his support for it, and his help in directing it, and he can talk about some of the initiatives he did, but it was 100% support, and as a first responder and as a friend, and I truly appreciate Mark helping us with this. His knowledge and expertise was fantastic. Anyway, here's Mark.
Boy, I'm really glad you stopped that story. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, and I, you know, when Mark reached out to me and started talking about this project, I thought, what a fantastic initiative. And as it has been said, to pull this off in such little time is astounding. It's incredible. And hats off to the Farm 911 folks. You see them here today wearing their golf shirts. Thank them. They've done a fantastic job. You know, from a first responder point of view, and speaking on behalf, and you see there's lots of fire chiefs and police officers in the room today, and there's paramedic staff here today as well. You know, the three emergency services, we rely upon really good information so that we can get to the scene as quickly as we can. And the Emily project, you know, something very positive and something very changing is coming out of a tragedy. And often, unfortunately, in the emergency services, it takes a tragedy for us to realize there's a gap. There's a gap we need to fill. You know, the 911 system was actually only introduced in Ontario province-wide in the 90s. The GTA had a little bit of it in the 80s. And then some parts of North Frontenac County didn't have it until 2007. So the 911 system prior to that was basically your old lot and concession. And the dispatch centers had a lot and concession map, and they relied completely upon the local knowledge of the responders to understand. And quite often, and I used to be a dispatcher back then, and you just say what the name of the family farm was at lot 10 concession 6, and then they would know to go to that farm, and then narrow it down from there. When we went to 911 with the Bell 911 system, we got enhanced information into the dispatch center. So at Belleville Fire Dispatch, we dispatch all of Hastings County except for Quinte West. Quinte West has their own dispatch system, and Prince Edward County has their own dispatch system, and of course Northumberland's out of Coburg, correct? Peterborough. So, and LNA is dispatched by Kingston Fire Dispatch. So when you call 911, your first call from this region, for the most part, is going to a location in Sudbury. Call Northern 911. And they're going to ask which of the three services you need, police, fire, ambulance. And then from there, it's downrouted down to our dispatch centers. If you've called from a landline, the information from your landline automatically populates the screen and gives us the address of where that call is coming from. And that has worked well, except now how many people have cell phones? So that any-alley information we call is not being dumped into the system. So now it does triangulation of towers, or sometimes if your location services are turned on to your phone, they can narrow it down to probably the area the size of this tent. So it's still pretty good information. The challenge is that the GIS system is address-based in all the dispatch systems. So we really need an address, and that's usually the first question a dispatch will ask you, is what's your address, what's your emergency, and what's your name, what's your number? Those are the 4 critical questions we need to have answered. And the challenge with the 911 access, or the farm field challenges, or the back lot challenges, the hunting camp challenges, as Mark has talked to, is that may not be the most accurate information we have. And that's what the Emily project identified was the next gap in 911. And if we can get that address information into the first responders' hands more quickly. They're going to get to the scene more quickly. We have technology on our firefighters' hips today beyond the pager. They're wearing cell phones with applications that actually can show them the map of where that location is at. We have apps that will show us where our responders are coming from on a grid map, that we can see who's coming and how far they are away. So that's excellent information to get the responders there first. The most critical component of that is making sure that our guys have the accurate information. So the sign on the road that lets us know that every farm entrance, if there's a culvert that we can cross over, any address that's identified, we can get there quicker to make a difference. And so this is going to be a game changer for the first responders, because as Mark said, the feeling of helplessness or hopelessness, there's nothing more helpless a responder feels that they're driving around, they know there's an emergency somewhere, but they can't find it. And whether the police, the fire, the paramedics are responding, the quicker we can have the information, the better it is. And on a closing note, when you do call 911 and you ask for the ambulance, they may dispatch an ambulance, but the ambulance centers are dispatched out of 3 locations in this region, Brentford, Lindsay, and Kingston. So it's not a local dispatch system. We may or may not get the information at the fire hall or the police station. So pick up the phone and make another call to the fire service to make sure your local first fire responders are aware that there's a call in the area. And that'll further reduce the delay. Because we're working on the communications between the services, but sometimes there is challenges in getting that information relayed accurately across. And quite often a fire first responder may be the first person on the scene to provide an accurate update to the responders, and then dispatch can tell the other services what they can expect when they arrive. So once again, in closing, I just want to thank the Farm 911 committee team that did an excellent job. I think this is going to really result in reduced response times, and it'll really make a difference in the lives of people. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We really appreciate you showing up and hearing this out, and hopefully you will take it further. This project was difficult and fulfilling, I think, for everybody on the Farm 911 stuff. And I guess the takeaway is it's okay to get involved emotionally, and I think we all did that at different times, thankfully. But it's why this project moved ahead as quickly as it did. It was because everybody was interested in seeing it completed, seeing it moving forward, and pushing it out to where it needs to be to move on. And the support of everybody here shows that. First responders being here shows that it's needed, and as Mark said, it fills a gap. And I've never heard it put that way, but that's good if we're doing that. Right now we're going to have a ceremonial 911 sign erected at the OFA tent, and Scott and his family are going to do that for us. So we're going to have a photo op, I guess, and that will be the official launch of the project. Thank you all for coming.
Stand back. You're really close up. Pick it out. So, Mayor Albert, the municipality of Tweed 100% supports this project. How do you feel about the project itself?
I think it's
You have to speak up some.
I stand. I think it's a wonderful project to avoid more tragedies, and it's just a wonderful way. It's a way to honor a little girl who lost her life because of the fire the responders couldn't find. So I just think it's a wonderful project, and I thank the Farm 911 and Mark Slack, who was again behind this project, for all their hard work. Today's an emotional day for everybody. So
Thank you.